It's me, Josh Hunter, and I am here on the planet Earth. I thought it would be a good thing to do because a lot of people think that I'm like, crazy. They think that I'm like actually insane, and that's all right. I mean, to each his own, and her own, and her own. um, and so one of the things that I try to do while I am speaking, I'm not particularly concerned about whether or not people think I'm crazy or not. I don't want someone, if there's some way that I would have been of benefit to them, but they were so sure that I was insane that I could not be of any benefit, then, and then they missed out, or anyway. So what I try to do is I try to give examples of the difference between something that's just unusual and something that's actually crazy. And here, crazy or insane, mentally ill, is defined as having a very poor logic. So when I say poor logic, I'm referring to what a person wants, what they need, their goals. Some people simply take unusual routes to get what they need and what they want. Um, and so my definition anyway of crazy is just having bad logic. You say you want this and you're going to go about it this way. That's crazy. So I also think it's important though that people not feel bad if they find out, because I mean sometimes you have a poor reaction. You're seeing the movie Shutter Island, scared the shit out of me. Fuck, dude, like that's heavy. Um, I mean, you would think like Fight Club and all that type of stuff would be like heavy too, but I don't know. Like Tyler Durden, like he didn't, or what was the other guy's name? I don't remember. Or wait, it was just Tyler Durden, right? Anyway, like, like he didn't have like a family or anything, so like when he like broke down or whatever, I mean, there was no problem. Like it was just like it was like difficult, but then he woke up and then oh, it was just there was like just some like woman there to comfort him. Whereas like in Shutter Island, like this guy had a whole family and everything, and it just very difficult to process. Um, so if so, I want you to be in a when the truth is revealed to you. I'd like for you'd like to, for some people, okay, and this is me being biased, but for some people, I would like you to be in a good position when certain truths of your life are compelled to be revealed to you. Like I don't want you to have to be like in some shitty place when certain things are explained to you. Because I've pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, a good 70 or even 75% of the time been like in some pretty shitty places when some great grand truths were revealed to me. I'm like, why am I perceiving all this? Like what the fuck, So anyway. Um, oh, okay. So, when I'm like very stressed, I want to try and tell you about some times how I reacted in under extremely stressful situations. Um, since I was, as you know, I'm an only child, and I don't know a lot of other only children. But when there's no one around, you just talk. I mean, this is what you do. I think anyway. And I would never talk to anyone in particular. I never had, I never had imaginary friends. I had like toys and stuff, and that was neat. But I was very doubtful. Like even as a child, like I doubted the existence of Santa Claus. I even made like a paper. I wrote up like a document in to prove that Santa Claus didn't exist. And I took it to school and showed like, you see, here's the reason why. And see, if he's going to every house in the night, how does he get there so quickly, and what kind of technology is this, and that type of thing. So I was always a very doubtful type of child, but I did develop this behavior of talking to myself, and it helps to process, and it keeps you right in your immediate environment. If you were someone who had kind of projected yourself into some other place because you were so stressful, because you were so stressed. When you are able to talk to yourself, you can hear your own voice, and it helps to localize you right where you are. If there isn't, the proper thing to give you sufficient stability. So what I'd like to do now is talk about some of the times. So anyway, whenever I would go on long walks, I would do this, like, because I don't like walking, but these long walks, I would just like walk around, just like talking to myself, but just like saying like absurd things, like just absurd, almost like like a fucking radio or something, because I didn't know how to process this, and so I would revert to like, not revert, but anyway, I would like to during my most like stressed times that I can imagine. I remember I was it Argyle? I think I was on Argyle Street, like right near the Pantages. Like I was trying to get these solar panels to work. Like I couldn't. I kept on because I bought a cell phone and nobody would like, because I didn't have an address, so I couldn't get it mailed to me. And I kept on like asking around. And every solar panel that I bought was like just like I couldn't understand it because they don't have a screen. Like it's just a bunch of blinking lights. I'm like, what the fuck does this mean? And so I tried to. Okay. Anyway, I got really upset, and then I bought a solar panel from this guy, and I was so frustrated. I just like threw it in the middle of the street, and it just smashed everywhere. And then I may have had a Four Loko, but I don't know if I did. Usually when I have a Four Loko, that's only during times of severe stress. I mean, I don't drink beer because I'm stressed. Come on, for fuck's sake. All right. So so my stressful phrase, the phrase that I say when I was stressed at that time, was I was quoting Newland Archer from The Age of Innocence, like, um, because like he was like almost like having an affair with his wife's cousin in this book. Oh, spoilers, I guess, I don't know. And so he was like his his wife, like, I guess she knew, or she was like sensing her anyway. And well, no, he was talking to his sister, right? And his sister was like, you should help out. Her name in the stories, I think, is Olenska, Ellen Olenska. And and he's someone like said like, oh, you should warn her. You should warn her. And like what he says, like, stop her, warn her. I'm not engaged to be married to the Countess Olenska. And this is like, I got so stressed out I couldn't think of anything. I tried to think of the most like stable thing that I could think about, like and that's the phrase that came to mind. And I was so frustrated that I couldn't get the fucking. I was, I was so. I was I was so stressed that I could not like get this thing to work. Like, it's just a simple thing. You plug something into an outlet, you have a cell phone. Like, this is something that should have taken less than a week on Amazon.com, and instead it took me 2 months to get a cell phone. And because like I spent hundreds of dollars because anyway. Um, and so I threw this thing in the street. I just kept on just walking up and down like Hollywood Boulevard, and I just ranting like, stop her, warn her, I'm not engaged to be married to the Countess Olenska. And whenever I get really stressed, that's how you know that I'm like very stressed. Like that's. Cause I can't, like, I'm trying to go to like a safe place. I'm trying to go to a place that just, where everything makes sense, where everything is simple, it's just like the Age of Innocence is just like a bunch of rich people, like, worried about, like, delicacy, just, and manners, and so, the other phrase, I'll just stick with Okay. So, I would like this to be of benefit to you. I read The Age of Innocence. I like it. It's a good book. And so, um, when you are stressed, I hope this same thing can be of value to you, this phrase. So if you're ever like in a super stressed mode, or like you feel like reality is like buckling or something, you can say this. You can say, "Stop her, warn her. I'm not engaged to be married to the Countess Olenska." You don't have to say it like that. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me, anyway. I have not seen the movie The Age of Innocence, by the way. I didn't even know there was a movie. I had read the book like tons of times, and then someone told me that there was a movie as well. I haven't seen the movie, so I'm in. All right. So, I mean, I haven't even seen a clip or a trailer, so I don't. Anyway, so I hope this is a benefit. I I have other phrases. I'm not sure if fuck it. I'm gonna say it. Name it. All right. So the other phrase that I also said when I was like really stressed, and I don't know if it was that same night or in the first X-Men animated series cartoon. It was like their rendition of Gambit. Like he's like very like adult, And, like the very first episode, like because Gambit he's like a Cajun. He's like from Nolans. All right, like he's like down south guy, and so they're at the mall, and he's like over there. He's like buying like a pack of like cards. It's like that's like oh, fuck. And he's leaning over the desk, like he's flirting with the lady at the cashier, and she's what is she asking him? It was she's like, "Oh, do you like so you like playing cards, or do you like playing cards, or something like that?" And he says, "I like solitaire, all right, unless I got someone to play with." Like it's very like adult themed, and so when I got stressed, I had my own version of it. Not my own version, but like when I get and it's a general stress. Something just got scared. I don't know. I feel like a fear now, like a trembling, almost. Okay, all right. So the other phrase is solitaire, all right, unless you got someone to play with. And I thought it was unusual that they had this in a cartoon for children. I mean, that's 1992. And so that's my other phrase. But for some reason, it's making me very uncomfortable to even. I'm not even getting my usual like, oh, it's uncomfortable. But maybe that's. All right. Well, if it was wrong for me to bring up this quote, why would it be wrong? Put it on television. They put it for children. That's why. That's because in the '90s, like they were much more like relaxed about what they show on. Oh, I did have a little bit of coffee. I haven't had as much coffee as normal, so there's a little caffeine in that too. So anyway, the actual quote is, "I like solitaire, all right, unless I got someone to play with." But when I say it, I say solitaire, all right, unless I got someone to play with. And it makes me, I don't know, I like the smoothness of it, like, cause the fucking Gambit, like Remy LeBeau, he's a smooth guy. He is a smooth character. I mean, in that cartoon, I didn't watch in X-Men Evolution and all that. I guess he's like cool or whatever, but like the voice actor for that original series, all the voice acting for that original series, X-Men, the animated series, was great. I know it recently came back into popularity, but these guys they don't understand. Like they don't, they don't. I mean, maybe they do. Maybe I'm just like a boomer. But when I hear boomer, like I always think of Battlestar Galactica. It's like there's some kind of like subtle code or something when they say "okay, boomer." Are they like referring? Oh, the insult is in the very thing that they're saying. Okay, they're trying to insult elderly people when they don't realize like the children that they're having are like the result of technology and humanity mixing together. So I guess when you say "okay, boomer," you're really just insulting yourself, aren't you? Thanks for watching.